Warriors, welcome to today's video. My friends, before I get into it, I want you to subscribe to the #1 anxiety support channel there is on YouTube so that you can get the support that you deserve to heal anxiety and to become a brand new identity. Today is all about your daytime habits because there's a lot of focus out there on the mornings and what you shouldn't do and what you should do. There's a lot of focus out there in terms of the evenings and again the habits that we want to replace. But there isn't much focus on how we should go about our daytimes because during the day we're in a high beta brainwave state, which means that for the large majority of the day, we don't have the opportunity to become aware, conscious of what we're doing. Everything, almost everything, is unconscious. So there may be aspects there that are not contributing to our healing that we want to begin becoming aware of so that we can begin creating more momentum throughout the day that carries on into the evening, into your sleep cycle, and towards the next morning. So daytime habits are very, very important. The first one I want to discuss is to mentally check in from time to time, recognizing where you are emotionally and respond rather than react. Like I mentioned, when you're in a high beta brainwave state, you're reacting, but you're not really responding. And when we check in mentally to see how we're feeling, rather than just be on default or on autopilot, we can recognize, I'm feeling quite well at the moment. So there really isn't too much I need to shift. There isn't really too much consciousness I have to bring to this moment. But when you're checking in and you recognize that you're not feeling so good or you're hanging on to something from the past or something got to you, then through that mental check-in, you can do something about it right then, right there. Because responding means that you can recognize up to 3 other ways of perceiving a situation. 3 more ways. And when you give yourself those options, you become very flexible in terms of how you respond to situations. So responding means, okay, well, I've got 3 more ways to perceive this situation right now, or something that took place in the past, or something I'm looking forward to in the future. And reacting is allowing yourself to be on autopilot and unconscious, and many times allow your survival brain to dictate how your experience goes. So the first thing is obviously to mentally check in more often throughout the day. The second thing to focus on is to recognize what you could be doing slower, right? What you could be doing slower. And what I did just to make sure that I was doing things slower, because our speed dictates whether the situation is a threat or in fact safe to our subconscious minds. So what we do with our bodies are very, very important as we go through the day. And I used to write down the letter S on the back of my hand, or the letter B for breathe, because many times we don't breathe. It's so shallow to the point where we experience a sense of dizziness or depersonalization. And with continued shallow breathing, that dizziness and depersonalization can stick around. And what happens when you're in that kind of a state and you're breathing that way and things are going very fast is your perceptual filters begin to change. You begin to perceive things that aren't threatening as being threats. You begin to look back on your past and recognize, oh my God, These situations were more traumatizing than I first believed, all because you're stuck in a fight or flight reaction. So breathing is very, very important. Speed is very, very important. So recognize what you could be doing slower. Number 3 is recognize what you're saying and how you're saying it, right? And it's difficult. It's difficult, but what's really important is to prepare yourself for your conversations from time to time, right? And not wait to do something in the moment that will alter the way you feel about that situation. So if I know that I'm going to go talk to Janet, right? Janet, I usually see her at 10 a.m. every single day. I want to make sure that what I say to her is very much progress-based. She comes and asks, "How was your weekend?" "Well, I had this hard thing here and this was difficult over there, but I'm trying my best." No, 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 no. We don't want to fall into the trap that our survival brains are creating for us. Instead, we want to prepare, and through one simple word like progress, I have the opportunity to speak about some of the videos I've been watching, like the Anxiety Guy videos, or something else I'm doing for myself, or more self-care that I'm arranging for myself. So prepare what you're going to say and how you're going to say it with your body and your voice tone and so on, so that what you say and how you say it contributes to your healing path, my friends. Because it's very important to understand whether you are flying in between that space, that cruising altitude that says, yes, what I'm doing right now is contributing to my healing, right? And that simple check-in is absolutely essential. The fourth thing in terms of daytime habits is to become progressively more aware of the people you're spending time with, right? And understand this. When two nervous systems are interacting with each other unconsciously, right? Not what we're saying or not what we're really recognizing about the conversation or about the other person, but unconsciously below the surface. That creates a third effect. So you got two nervous systems communicating with each other, and my system is communicating with their system below the level of conscious awareness, which is creating a third effect. Guess what that third effect is? It's called a mood. So we find ourselves in a mood, and we're consciously trying to think about how we got into this mood. There was nothing that could have caused me to feel this depressed or feel this anxious. But we need to recognize that through this interaction with somebody else, it's like I'm downloading their stuff. So that third effect, which is a mood, doesn't have to be overthought. But in reality, you just have to recognize more so who the people are that you're interacting with consciously and unconsciously that is creating that third effect, which is a mood that you find yourself in from time to time and not really recognizing how you got there. So again, pay more attention to who it is that you're spending time with. The fifth thing to recognize is to step into discomfort intentionally, my friends. Step into discomfort intentionally. Speak to someone. Walk differently. Wear something that's unique to you. Because this goes back to Stoicism, where we intentionally suffer rather than unintentionally suffer, right? We run into that situation where we feel like we're suffering and then we don't know what to do about it and we become more frantic about it. No, Place yourself in the situation prior to you not knowingly placing yourself in there. And what's going to happen is you're going to begin replacing the word trigger with challenge, right? Very, very crucial. Because in my world, when I work with people through my programs, there is no such thing as a trigger. There is only a challenge, because it's the challenge that reprograms our subconscious minds and bodies. So without these challenges that we intentionally place ourselves in, we're never going to heal. But if we continue to look to avoid those challenges and cause ourselves to interpret them as triggers, then we're continuously going to look for ways to distract ourselves from things that we fear. And what happens when the snowball begins rolling down the hill? The snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you get to a place where you're going, oh my goodness, I can't even function in society anymore. And that's what happened to me. I avoided, I stuffed it down, I distracted, and it got worse. Number 6, and I love this one, right? We all can find the time to ground in nature for just a 10-minute period. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, and connect with the earth's energy for the sole purpose of experiencing positive emptiness. Positive emptiness, Dennis? Yes, positive emptiness. Because I don't want you to go about your days thinking that you are your career, thinking that you are only your physical body, thinking that you are your name, and all these other labels and attachments that we have to ourselves, right? Positive experiencing, positive emptiness means we escape that world for a brief period of time through grounding in nature, which gives us the opportunity to become more clear about our lives and who we've become later on. This is a beautiful thing, because grounding in nature takes you away from the enemy. And the enemy is overthinking. Overthinking is the enemy. Overthinking is what we revert back to when we can't solve a problem that we want to solve. And many times we begin overthinking, which creates more anxiety, which creates a bigger ditch that we're digging ourselves into, and we never come up with the answers that we truly want, when in fact grounding in nature will allow you to get back in touch with something that you lost: your spontaneousness, your intuition, the voice of your heart. So find 10 minutes to ground in nature during the daytime. And finally, number 7, journal any new insights that will help you to move a new idea into a belief. Journal when you get an idea. Journal when you've recognized that you've made some progress. Journal, because the more you journal around that new idea, the more opportunity you're going to give yourself to turn that into a belief, rather than just an idea that comes and goes. Because many times anxiety sufferers only focus on the ideas that relate and connect to their suffering, right? If it's about me and it's bad, okay, that's familiar. If it's about the world and how it's against me, okay, that's familiar. That's the world of anxiety, and it's very much unconscious. So journaling these new ideas and insights you get throughout the day will help us. It will help us tremendously. But remember, when you begin healing, my friend, I'm talking directly to you. When you begin healing, remind yourself that that feeling of healing is what you've been working towards. Just because it's unfamiliar, just because it's uncertain, just because there's a path ahead of you that is slightly unknown. Must not be the reasons you revert back to familiarity and anxiety. Do not let it happen. Recognize this resistance and understand that you are worthy of this healing and of becoming someone different. Warrior, remember this. In healing, if you're not having fun, you're not healing. So please, make fun a priority because you deserve it and you can achieve it. Spend time there. Spend more time there. Don't go back to a world of being overly serious because that's not where healing is. Think about it. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and remember that you are more than anxiety. If you have any other questions on the #1 anxiety recovery program out there today, head on over here to learn more about the Inner Circle.